This introduction to digital photography is going to use primarily simple point and shoot digital cameras, but they are very similar to a DSLR camera. They have many of the same components. It's just that the DSLR is going to have more bells and whistles. So this slideshow is kind of making some comparisons. And the first thing that we talk about when we talk about cameras and how they work is the fact that there are two main parts of a camera. And one of them is very similar to the human body. And the body of the camera is this housing right here. I like to go to trade shows and get to look at different cameras, and sometimes they provide cutaways for us to take a peek at what's inside the camera. I'm going to give you a video to watch which shows how Canon DSLR is created. It's pretty awe-inspiring technology. There is the body of the camera right there. And for those of you who are purchasing cameras, you do have to be a little bit careful when you're looking at a good price on a camera that you're seeing advertised for more money. This is what you might get for less money. It's not going to have a lens on it. So we call this a body only. And as you progress in photography, sometimes you can use the same lens from an older camera on a newer camera body. So the body, we have a skeleton, and it holds all of our vital organs and makes us be able to function. So the camera body is similar. The camera body holds all of the innards. So the second part of the camera that we talk about is the lens of the camera. Now the human lens is inside the eye, and lens makers are always jealous of the fact that Mother Nature can make such a variable lens that works in different light conditions and focuses at different distances, all with seemingly very little mechanism, just some muscles and some electrons passing through your nerves. Camera designers have to use an artificial eye. And we talk about a lens as if that is one lens, as in the eye, we have one lens. But if you were to open up a camera lens, especially on a sophisticated digital camera, you might find that you have a clustering of lenses. And these are called compound lenses, not simple lenses. Again, if you went to a trade show, you might see a lens that's been cut away. A hint to you that are buying used equipment. Used equipment is a good thing, but you have to make sure that there's no flaws in it. If you are buying a used lens, one thing I'd like you to do is hold the lens carefully in your hand right next to your ear, and I want you to close your eyes and I want you to shake the lens back and forth. What can happen on occasion is that the cement that holds these lenses into place breaks loose, and you may have a lens inside that's rattling back and forth. the lens will work, but it will not work to its optimal level, and it would be not a good purchase to make. Behind the lens is what's called the sensor. And that's this little tiny piece of real estate right here. This little, looks like a screen, but it's a miniature type, about as big as your thumbnail. And that is the substitute for film. That is what receives different quantities of light and turns it into an electronic signal. So if you wanted to go buy a sensor to put it into your camera, number one, it'd be very expensive. Number two, it's the kind of thing that an untrained person doesn't do. You want to have just a professional do that. This is what a sensor looks like. And there are all different kinds of sensors. Back to our simple camera. Now that we know about a body and a lens, we need to be able to switch the camera on. So someplace on that camera body, there's going to be a switch which activates circuits. On a DSLR, your on-off button is right here, and camera can't take a picture unless there is electrical circuits in operation. On a very simple camera, point and shoot, we just have maybe one or two buttons. One of them is a power button. Now, framing a picture requires a viewfinder. Old-fashioned cameras had a window. It's called a direct optical viewfinder, and you put your eye up to it and you look through it, and your camera gave you approximately what you saw. Newer cameras also have a window, but it's an electronic window, and it's called an LCD screen on the back of the camera that shows you exactly what the camera is seeing. Looking ahead to probably what camera you're going to be using, I would encourage you to start using the viewfinder image by looking, close one eye and put this up to your other eye and look through it with the camera turned on. Unless you're shooting video, and if you're shooting video, then don't look through here at all. The video viewfinder is the LCD screen. Every once in a while, I will go to live view, and live view enables me to hold the camera up above my head and see what's the camera is seeing. So sometimes these LCD screens flip out and rotate for you. Now, when you're looking through a DSLR viewfinder, you will see all kinds of information. And that's one reason that I asked you to buy a camera guidebook to your camera, because Nikon and Canon and Sony, every one of them will have different placements and different displays for you. So go to your camera guidebook and look for the viewfinder map, and that's kind of what this is. It's a map to how to read the information that's available to you. This is an older camera. It has a optical, and it has an LCD panel on it.